everybody, it's Chris. Welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to be watching somebody who's definitely a little bit crazy in an awesome way. She's kind of like becoming one of my guilty pleasures. And it is Alex from HRH Collection. This isn't on her channel. She's on a channel, somebody called Amala. I don't want to butcher her last name, but I will link this video below. This is a clip from an interview she did with Alex, and it's Alex talking about fat acceptance. Alex is definitely not for everybody. She cracks me up because she's so brutally honest. Definitely harsh, and she definitely does it in a troll type of way. And she has no shame about that. And watching people like Alex, who I love and I think they're funny and I'm not easily offended, it just cracks me up why some people say that I am so mean and harsh when I am one of the more benevolent reactors out there. But I wanted to see this because I do cover fat acceptance. I started my videos to specifically react to fat acceptance and Amberlynn Reid and stuff like that, who push a bad, dangerous narrative about the dangers of being obese and an unhealthy diet in general, not just for fat people, for thinner people too. And because I do have a medical background and I am working on getting myself healthy, it's really important. And I want to be able to dispel the myths that they push out, you know, fat acceptance, body positivity, haze, and all that. And I want to try to give some useful tips, tricks, ideas, and let people know, you know, maybe something I say resonates with them and they say, oh, maybe I need to go to a doctor for something, or maybe I do need to change this, or I can change this. I have a history of disordered eating, so I sympathize with people who struggle with that. I have struggled with my weight. I was like thin and healthy most of my life. I didn't struggle with being overweight until like well into my late 20s. So, you know, I know where people are come from. I have PCOS and insulin resistance, and I was really screwed over by Lyme disease when I contracted it. So I, you know, have a lot of experience personally and professionally, and I do shit talk. I am like definitely a snarky Gen Xer. Not for everybody. Don't sugarcoat things. And yeah, but Alex takes it to a whole new level. So we are going to watch this clip and react. Warning now, if you haven't seen her, she is not nice. I personally like her, like I said, because I think she's funny and I'm not easily offended, and I'm not an overly sensitive snowflake who thinks everything has to be positive. Alex herself has lost weight and had an evolution with her body and her appearance, and I love her. I think she's pretty. I think she's hilarious. So we're going to watch this, and I'm going to throw in my unasked for 2 cents. And just a fun thing on the channel, a little different, but still covers the fat acceptance content I want to get out there regularly for you guys. And I don't know, I may even start reacting to some of Alex's stuff. She does all these things like, oh, look at me, I'm fat. Does this purse make me look fat? I'm a fat ass today. You're fat because you. She just does a lot of stuff revolving weight, and a lot of it is very trolly, but it's funny. And it will just be a nice change of pace. I'm not pigeonholing my channel into just one particular person, despite what some people think. I don't only react to one particular person. My channel, looking through that, makes it very obvious. Let's see what Alex has to say. And if I have to speed it up, I will. And like I said, I will link the video down below, and I will also link Alex's channel called HRH Collection as well in the cards.
All right, Alex, let's get into the sort of fat acceptance, fat body positivity movement, TikToks and videos. And I want to get...
And I can tell you, first of all, I know why she gets so frustrated with these people, because they push a very dangerous narrative. They teach people and brainwash people. It's a death cult to think that like being overweight is not unhealthy, and that all doctors are just out to get you, and that if somebody says you need to lose weight, it's bullying and fat shaming, which is not freaking true. So they really push a narrative that is actually physically hurting people. So I can see why she's very heated about this particular movement. I mean, look at what it does to people. Look at what it did to like beautiful people like Alex Rodriguez and a lot of the young girls who follow them. Even Tess Holiday wasn't as bad as she is now, and just a lot of people. You see a lot of girls and women coming out of fat acceptance saying, oh, like Megan Ann, and like how bad it was for them and how much harm it did to them. So yeah.
Get your rapid reaction to what these women are saying, which by and large it happens to be women, which I never see men being like, I'm fighting for the right to be fat.
Yeah.
Because fat acceptance is not for men. The fat acceptance is only for women, because these women want to be, I'm sorry, they want to overeat and be gluttonous and be lazy and not take care of themselves. And not every fat person's lazy. I know people work hard and everything, but the fact is they don't want to take care of their body. They don't want to be a healthy weight, but they don't want a fat man. They want to date the sexy, fit, gym going, like, movie superhero type. And a lot of them admit that. They say, I don't want a fat guy, but you have to be attracted to them or it's fat phobic. And it's infuriating. And Alex, she pulls no punches. She will flat out say things that would piss a snowflake off. Just FYI.
Yeah.
You noticed that, right?
Yeah. It's because
so let's get into this first one. This one has to do with airplanes.
oh God.
So the other day, I had my first experience with airplane fat phobia. Basically, I got on this plane home. I was in one of the last boarding groups, so I was one of the last people to actually get on the flight. And I had a window seat, so there were two people sitting in the row next to me. And I walked up and I said, hi, I think this is my seat.
And FYI, there's no such thing as airplane fat phobia. Those seats are a certain size. It's not super comfortable for anybody. If you want to fly in luxury or have more room, you have to just upgrade to business class or first class or buy two seats. It's nothing personal. Business, like, it takes a lot of money to fly and run an airplane and an airline. It's all about money for them. It's nothing personal. They want people to build things around them and their needs. But like I always say, businesses, companies, they cater to the masses, not the massive. Okay, because it's about money. And the problem is people used to not be this size, like it or not. It's not genetics that have made you fat, it's habits. Because if you look even 60 years ago, most people that were fat as hell back then are average now. And if you look back 70, 80, 100 years ago, there were no fat people. It was a real oddity, and you have to work real hard to get to be the size that women like this are. They're outgrowing the norm. And when you're outside of the norm, be it too thin or too fat or too tall or too short, then yeah, things are going to be difficult for you because companies and society builds around just the average. I mean, there's planes giving fat people extra seats for free, and actually, this is on record, paying customers off of flights, out of their seats, to give the extra seat to a fat person. So tell me again how you're getting fat phobia on an airplane and you're not catered to.
And one of them goes, oh, Jesus, under his breath. Like, he's
And I'm sorry, but who wants, like, airplane seats are tight enough. I'm sorry. It's nothing personal. I don't want you spilling over into my seat, especially if it's a long flight. It's not comfortable. Even if you're fit or thin or attractive, I get anxiety. I don't want to be touched by a stranger. I don't want a stranger touching me. If I was on a flight for 6 or 7 hours, I wouldn't want my partner like wedged up against me, touching all up on me and stuff. You just want to be as comfortable as you possibly can be on a flight. But get a bigger freaking seat. get a first class seat, get a business class seat, buy 2 seats, buy 3 seats if you need it.
Already very upset that I'm even here.
That actually
They
was
both seem
me.
very annoyed and kind of grumble.
If you're not
their
watching, if you're just listening, like the faces Alex makes are just, they're speaking without saying words.
way into getting up and letting me go to my seat, and then they get back in the seats. They make a lot of
She's like Alan Roberts' long lost like daughter.
comments about, oh, I hope we'll be able to fit, or like, oh, it's kind of cramped, I'm really uncomfortable. And I'm just sitting there
And they are uncomfortable, and they have a right to be moved if they're going to be uncomfortable. Like, especially if it's not a short flight, if it's going to be long, then yeah, it's like you're already going to be miserable. You want to be as less miserable as possible, right?
it's my seat, my guy, I don't know what to do. At one point, the woman sitting directly next to me starts looking for her seatbelt. I'm sure that's what she was doing, but she just kept shoving her hand in between the seats and inadvertently touching me.
And why are you complaining about that? She was looking for her seatbelt and she was inadvertently touching you. You're inadvertently touching her when you know you don't fit into the seat and you don't buy 2 seats, and you therefore let your belly or rolls or whatever spill over into her seat. You're inadvertently touching somebody else when you do that. So again, why is it okay for you to do it, but people can't do it to you? There's like a real hypocrisy in this movement, or as I call it, like the fat activism, like non-movement.
Touching my stomach the whole time, and it made me very, very uncomfortable.
Your stomach's there.
Pretty soon they end up waving
Inadvertently.
down the flight attendant and being like, can we switch seats? And she said, maybe. She said the flight's pretty full, but she'll, let them know when everyone's on board and they've got everything accounted for. Once again, they're saying things like, oh, I hope it can happen. Just really hammering it home that they don't want to sit next to me. Eventually, the flight attendant comes back, gives them new seats, and they are so excited. They get up and they go, what a relief, which leaves me crying.
But then, okay, everybody wins. They get moved to a seat. They're going to be more comfortable. You're more comfortable. What's the big deal? And you should see the faces Alex makes throughout this. Alex is an absolute shitlord. She's like a crown-wearing level shitlord.
Because I had the audacity to be fat next to people on a plane.
Not what it is.
On the bright side, I got a whole row to myself, but God, at what cost?
Okay.
Oh
Initial
my
thoughts.
gosh. It's just, I cannot even believe. Oh my gosh. Okay, give me a second. It's just too
Yeah,
much.
I mean, for me, it's just, okay, so I approached the subject. We talked about the subject matter on the show before. We had Savannah Hernandez on to talk about this. I approached it lighter than maybe Savannah or Alex are gonna might approach the subject matter. But honestly, it's just an inconvenience at that point. And if you are going to be buying a plane ticket, buy 2 plane tickets. And
that's absolutely the rational thing to do, but they don't want to have to pay for 2 seats. They want to get it for free. They want to be catered to. They say, oh, we don't want other people paying for our stuff, and we don't, we have to pay more for stuff. That's a fact of life. If you outsize yourself out of bus seats or plane seats or normal, clothing lines that only go up to, when I say only, my God, they go like a 3 or 4x now most places, then yes, you're going to have to pay more because you are out of the norm. So you are more difficult to cater to. It's like, how is that unreasonable? You can fix it. You can unfatten yourself. You can lose weight. You don't even have to get to be skinny. You might just lose a little bit of weight and go down to a svelte 2 or 3x, and then you can fit easier. You can find clothes more easily. You know what I mean? Like the most places, like at least like in America, cater to fat people so regularly now that you wouldn't even have to get down to like a normal straight size to find a lot more stuff accommodating.
It's not on the onus of
Why
the
can you,
airline.
Yeah, why can they inconvenience other people? And
Right.
she wasn't touching your stomach because she wanted to touch your stomach. Believe me, okay? No one said touch your stomach. She was probably trying to get her seatbelt.
Right.
And that's not comfortable to be crammed in a coach seat, I'm assuming, next to you, okay? Like, I don't, so we have to be inconvenienced and not for you because you're overweight. I'm sorry. I'm going to just straight out say, I used to be fat, okay? You guys know if you've been following me on YouTube for a long time, you can see the progression. I was fat, probably 40 pounds bigger. I lost it.
And I'm telling you, like, the least amount of weight I want to lose is 40 pounds. That would get me right into it would take me out of the obese category into the overweight category. But realistically, I need to lose like 70 pounds. Dream would be like almost 80, like get back to my pre-baby weight. But Alex, like many years ago when she was 40 pounds overweight, she would have been considered pretty chubby back in the day, 15, 20, 30 years ago. But now she would be considered thin if she was, quote, only 40 pounds overweight. But I give her credit. She saw that she was overweight. She knew it wasn't healthy. She knew it could get worse. She wasn't happy with herself, so she did something about it. She was honest with herself.
And so I can talk about this because I'm come from experience, all right? I was never like that. But
that's who fat acceptance people, okay? These women hate thin women. They do. They deny it, but they do. But the people they hate the most of all in life, get ready, I'm going to tell you. The former fats. The evil, vicious former fats. It's because people who have lost weight and kept it off blow their whole fat acceptance theory out of the water. How it's not food, it's not habits, it's all genetics. You can't control your weight. They prove them wrong.
But it's all laziness, okay? People are lazy. She is
Oh, they don't like hearing that.
lazy. That's why she's fat. She has no self-control. That's all it is, okay?
And that's not wrong. Like, I know it's harder for some people to lose weight. Some people are more predisposed to gaining weight because of metabolic issues, how they were raised, the habits of their families, and the eating habits they grew up with. But ultimately, like, if you change that stuff, you will lose weight. So it has everything to do with personal accountability and decisions.
Okay? So if you choose to be like that, you have to deal with the consequences of people not wanting to be crammed in a coach seat next to you. Oh my gosh.
And it just seems like with everything in life, with all of this woke ideology, it's like I've decided to
take me for me.
Yeah.
What? No.
Also, I've decided to suspend reality, and now that.
And FYI, like, for those of you who don't know me, it's like I get called a bigot and stuff a lot, which I'm really not. I'm like technically part of the LGBT community. I have a very dear friend that's like a trans woman. I talk to a lot of my viewers that are legitimately trans people. But I get called a bigot and stuff all the time because I don't believe in non-binary and they, them. And I refuse to call somebody who's walking around with a giant Viking beard and stuff a she. It's like, I call people what they present as or what they biologically are, but I'm not against true trans people. I'm very supportive of them. I'm not anti-trans. I'm not anti-gay. Like I said, I'm part of that community. I'm anti-woke, so I can understand not going for all the woke rhetoric, but I am especially very much anti-fat acceptance because I know how dangerous being extremely overweight is for you. So, and they push a very dangerous narrative. So I really want to speak out against that as much as I can.
That has to be your reality. Like, I've chosen these new pronouns and now you have to take them on.
But you can choose all the pronouns you want. It's not reality. The fact is there are two genders and you are either one or the other. If you truly have gender dysphoria, like diagnosed gender dysphoria, and you go through transitioning, actually starting to transition to help that condition, I will acknowledge your transition and what you choose to be. And like Blair White, Buck Angel, Marcus from the Offensive Tranny. These are truly trans people. And my friend who is a trans woman has even said that true gender dysphoria is actually very, very uncommon. Like, there are not all these tons of people just trans out there. These are trans trenders. These are people looking for attention. These are people confused. And these are people that are making true trans people look very bad and giving the LGBT community a bad name. And that's why a lot of the LGB wants to break off and break away and disassociate from the TQI, whatever. So, and it's really sad because they've worked really hard to kind of get like, basic rights for gay people and stuff, and the ability to just live your life and not be judged and be able to get married and have kids and present how you want to in public. And it's like they have that right, at least here in America, and that freedom. And it's like some people just take it too far, just like the fat acceptance takes it too far. Like, I agree with the whole body positivity aspect and love your body, be positive about yourself, find good things about yourself, love yourself. But if you love yourself enough to know that being like obese is not healthy. Love yourself enough to try to make your body as healthy as you possibly can. Yes, there's conditions we can't control, but your weight is in your control. And I'm not talking about if you're just 15, 20 pounds overweight. Once you get to be 30, 40, 50 pounds more overweight and obese to the degree a lot of these fat activists are, it is just dangerous. And it's like people could be horrid people, but I don't want to see people die young and stuff as much. Even if I hate somebody, I would always give somebody credit for losing weight, trying to lose weight, trying to make better choices and improve themselves in some way. I would never not give somebody credit. Like, if, as much as she infuriates me, like Amberlynn Reed, if she actually lost weight, I would be happy for her. I know it's not going to happen. She doesn't want to do it. But I still want to see her lose weight and get healthier and extend her life and live longer and maybe become a better person. I've offered to make her meal ideas and meal plans and all kinds of stuff, like free of charge. Just the only thing is she would just have to do it, and never answered me or anything like that. We've helped friends, lose weight and stuff. When I started dating my partner when he was still in Florida, I taught him how to do keto and stuff because he needed to lose weight. He lost a bunch of weight. He looked great, felt great. You know what I mean? It's I've worked very hard to learn all this knowledge about, nutrition and diet and how different things affect your hormones and how that affects weight and the problems associated with fat. So these people are just dangerous and they're delusional and they're crazy. And like, out of all the movements, one of the most dangerous ones is the fat acceptance movement. I can't believe how mainstream it's gone too.
I'm sorry, but that's not the way it
clown
works.
World. This is clown world.
It is clown.
It's clown world. We live in a land where people want to say the sky is pink, and if you say no, it's blue, they want you like canceled and fired from your job and arrested because you don't prescribe to their reality. And that's not how it should be. It's like, okay, you have the freedom to live your life how you want to and believe what you want to believe, and that's good, that's fine, as long as you're not hurting anybody. Who cares? But people still then have the right to not believe in what you believe in and therefore not participate in it. And if you want the respect of living how you want to live and talking how you want to talk, you have to respect people not going along with what you believe in too. It has to be both ways. It has to be give and take. And all of this changing of like language and making up new words, like new terms and definitions for words, and like words don't mean anything anymore, and you can't say anything inherently negative about anybody if it hurts their feelings. You're a bull. No, that's just a bunch of bullshit. I'm sorry, like, no offense, but suck it up and toughen up and build a bridge and get over it. We all are told things we don't like. Not everyone's going to like everything we do or how we look or what we say. You can't let it like tear you apart. It's like, my God, just toughen up a little bit and move the hell on with your life. There's more important things to worry about.
world, and it's just simply not good for you. Like, I would be having a back and forth battle if it was actually something you're advocating for that's like good for people, but it's not good for people. We know the outcomes are not good.
And stop. I'm so sick of people saying that they're healthy when they're obese.
Right.
It's not true.
Yeah, and there's been a lot of like fat acceptance activists and people involved in it who have passed away in the past few years, like really young. And it's really sad because it could have been avoided, and they had their whole lives ahead of them. Some of them had young children that are now going to grow up without their mother. And it's just really sad because, you know, they could have been around for their kids and to live their life. And it's really tragic.
Right. On to the next one here. We're going to find out if we have thin privilege.
There's no such thing as thin privilege. I'm sorry, there's not. There is obese consequence, and that's all there is. It is work to stay thin and be thin in our society today, especially like in America with the food culture and the way we're pushed to eat and drink and overindulge. It's and not have to move to do anything. It is work and effort. It is hard to be thin and fit in our current environment. It is easy to be overweight.
Have thin privilege.
What? But I'm so fat. I'm like a size 20, 22. How can I possibly have thin privilege?
Because there are people who are fatter than me. When I go up on a plane, I might need a seatbelt extender. I might be uncomfortable. I may not feel good. People may say things to me.
So by their own rhetoric, you can't say anything because there is somebody fatter than you. You have thin privilege because, and you have no right to talk because somebody is fatter than you. Somebody is more oppressed than you. Because, you know, the fatter you are, the more oppressed you are. So then, by all standards, everybody except the one sole super mega death fat of the world, the literal fattest person in the world, is the only one who can cry fat phobia and true oppression and stuff like that, because everybody else is to some degree smaller than that person. Like, do you see how stupid this is? I want to know where this super mega death fat lives and if he or she is like, you know, cashing in on all their like oppression points.
But I don't need to buy a second seat or risk getting kicked off the plane. That means
You're not getting kicked off the plane, though. They're kicking thin people off of the plane who paid for their seats and putting them on standby so that people that are too big can comfortably have a seat. It's called, Southwest is doing it, and it's called their person of size policy. F that. Everybody is a person of size. You just happen to be a person of exorbitant size.
I have privilege compared to people who have that experience. You may not even need a seatbelt extender. If that's the case, then you have privilege compared to me.
Oh, I just love that it's like a privilege Olympics now that we live in this day and age. Like, we're just constantly fighting, battling to find out who's the most oppressed among us.
Who really just always just wants to be oppressed and wants to be a victim and wants to like get by on like pity and failure points. Like, what happened to people wanting to better themselves and do the best they can? And where is the pride in like hard work and taking pride in your appearance and how you take care of yourself and how you present yourself, and the pride in like a job well done? And I mean, it's like gone.
Yes.
And how come all of a sudden in the past like 3 years, everyone is like so like fat and like ugly, and everyone has to accept it?
Yeah, because like a lot of people are what I call like uglifying themselves. Like, it's one thing if you have a style and you want to have a style, like that's fine, and not everyone's gonna like it, not everyone's gonna hate it. But like people, like a lot of these women are going out of their way to like shave their head and wear like super wonky glasses and crazy nose piercings and no makeup and weird bizarre clothes. Like, people are purposely, especially women, are purposely like uglifying themselves. And then they wonder why like people aren't attracted to them, people don't want them. It's like, come on.
Like, all of a sudden, right? This whole thing with like the privilege and being fat and the plane thing and stuff, that no one was talking about this before. All of a sudden, it's like everyone can just like be fat and like gross, and like you have to accept me and I'm pretty. Like, no, you're not. Okay, you're lazy, and you're choosing to be like that. You don't have to be obese. Okay,
Such a good point.
Bothers me.
Such a good point to be like, yeah, if it's something that you're born with and that you totally can't help,
Right.
then yeah, maybe we should
No
start
one would say
helping.
anything if it was
Yeah, but the problem is nobody is born being obese, and it's not something they can't help. Everybody can lose weight. Nobody is doomed to be fat or be fat forever. That's just not true. And I personally feel, and this is coming from me, I can talk about this because I'm an obese person. I personally think planes, I think they should weigh you when they weigh in the luggage. You should have to pay by the pound. I'm sorry, that's just me. I mean, you can't have your luggage be 2 ounces over the weight, but people can be 100 pounds, 50, 60, 80 pounds over the weight limit of what they count as the average passenger. This causes actual health problems, or safety problems with deplaning if there's an emergency. The risk of them having a medical emergency in the air is greater, such as throwing a clot, having an embolism, or a heart attack, and just the actual balance of the plane so that the plane can freaking fly right and stay in the damn air. It makes it tricky. So there are legitimate concerns about this. So I don't care. I know I would pay more now to get on a plane than if I lost 30 pounds, but I accept that. If I am booking a trip, and I'm like, uh-oh, I don't want to pay that for a plane ticket, and my flight is 2 or 3 or 4 months away, I can lower my weight in 2 or 3 months and not have to pay as much. It is what it is.
an actual disability, okay?
Right.
They would move waters for you, believe me.
Right.
But this is, and then
Yes, and my saying is being obese is disabling, but it is not a disability because you can change it.
it's so entitled too. Like they all look like this. They're all so entitled.
Yes, the entitlement in this movement is insane.
They like to make drama. It's really annoying.
Yeah, all of it is on you. Whatever they believe has to be on you, and now you have to believe it. You have to conform to it. And I'm just wondering what's the next thing. 'Cause
And
it was
you
Yeah, all of the onus is on everybody else, not themselves.
don't
race.
have thin privilege, believe me, Hitch. You don't. There's no such thing as privilege.
It's really,
Stupid.
yeah, it's just, we're just constantly making stuff up and battling over it for absolutely no reason.
It's like imagination land is what I call it. It's not reality.
Here's another one.
Oh my God.
Today I started a diet because this shit.
And if you weren't looking, it's like they're reacting to a fat activist is stitching this video from TikTok where it's like this thin fit woman complaining about wanting to work harder and lose weight because she has the littlest, tiniest roll on her side. And she's by all means in great shape. But if she does have a little excess fat and she wants to get rid of it, good for her. Shouldn't go too far, obviously. You don't want to end up being too thin and go too far in that direction. But if you got a little extra and she wants to lose a little bit, fine.
So I've seen a little bit of discussion around this video, and I've mostly seen people feeling bad for Quinlan because she clearly has some disordered thought patterns. But
you don't.
Disordered?
No,
Is it
she's
disordered to
fit.
go
Yeah, but you don't. And they're saying it this obese woman, this fat activist is acting like she doesn't have problems and a dysmorphic image of her body when she clearly does.
I'm feeling a little less fit than I normally am.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm going to start working out.
Working towards something to make herself look better. Not like
Gosh.
you, who probably went and had a donut afterwards.
Well, and it's not even just about looks. It's about being healthy, right? Yeah, looks are important. I'm tired of being shamed for not, talking about how people look and stuff. I'm sorry. It's inherently in our nature to assess people by how they look. It tells us a lot of things. It's in our survival instincts. You look at someone and assess if they're going to be an asset to you, if they're going to be a danger, if they're, just a lot of things. There's when you take looks out of it, it all comes down to like wanting to be healthy. And there is such a shame as like health shaming and thin shaming and fit shaming these days. But that's okay. That's all okay. But you can't fat shame.
Words and like crying in the camera.
It's because I know you talk about in your journey of like losing weight as like calories and counting calories.
Yeah.
And people will look at you and be like, you're anorexic for counting calories.
They did that when they like completely said I was like so unhealthy. All these people who made videos about how unhealthy I was because I counted calories.
And that's bullcrap, because I'm telling you, like, the watering down of a lot of words really bothers me these days. And one of those words, like, I should do a video, words that have been watered down and why it's absolute bullshit. But like one of those words is like, I can't say it because Daddy YouTube will put me in timeout, but Anna, that particular eating problem, just saying that somebody is counting calories or skipping a meal or not snacking or skipping dessert or not having seconds, attributing that to the Anna is crazy. Especially if they are overweight or obese and need to have excess weight to lose. That's messed up, because Anna is a very, very serious, dangerous mental health disorder. It is the most deadly mental health disorder out there right now. It is serious, it is severe, and it has specific requirements for diagnosis, and it is insanely hard to treat. Disordered eating, I know from having disordered eating, it drills itself into your brain and it ingrains in you, and it is so hard to treat and manage, and it's difficult. So like for them to just say, oh yeah, fat Alex here, and I'm not talking about Alex surgery, I'm talking about this Alex from HRH. She's like, people saying that when she was fatter that she was Anna because she was counting calories. That's crazy. I mean, do you see how insulting that is to people who actually have Anna and are struggling with that?
What do you respond to that? Like, what do you even say to a person who's going to tell you that you have an eating disorder for caring about your health?
I have an eating disorder, or thin people have an eating disorder, but they don't have an eating disorder.
Right.
I mean, are you?
Yeah, they absolutely do, but they don't acknowledge overeating disorders. They only acknowledge what they consider restrictive eating disorders.
Kidding me? It's so backwards. You can't even speak to them.
You can't. And you try, even if this girl wasn't even trying to talk about the fat acceptance
she's
movement or
talking
anything.
about herself.
She was making a video.
She's obviously really fit.
Yeah.
I mean, what?
Yeah, and she didn't like tag Bopo or Hayes or anything like that. They found her and they grabbed their pitchforks and torches and came at her hard. I do remember that.
Oh my gosh.
And it goes on. Let's continue.
I honestly don't get it. Like, I don't feel bad for these people anymore.
She didn't ask you to feel bad for
I find
her.
it really upsetting that people tend to empathize with thin people who are.
These people are just mad at the end of the day. These women are mad because they are not the standard of beauty and that they are considered less attractive than a thin person. That's what it comes down to. They're jealous. They're jealous because people that are fit and healthy and care about their health and take care of their bodies are praised for their having self-discipline and their self-control and their dedication and their commitment and how they look. And they're mad because they don't get that praise and they don't deserve that. But like, what are you going to get praise for? Like, you overeat, you don't, do any activity. You're letting your body get unhealthy and very out of shape. Like, you get to the point, like, these women, and these are women that aren't just like I said, 10, 20 pounds overweight. They're so big that they start losing the human shape. They're very deformed, very unhealthy, and it's not attractive, and they're mad because people aren't praising them. What is there to praise? Oh, you don't have a female shape anymore. You can't walk up a flight of stairs. You have no self-control. You eat all of this crap in excess amounts and eat more than your share. Woohoo. Like what is there to praise about that? If you're overweight and you're like, man, I screwed myself, I need to make changes, and you're trying, I will champion for you every step of the way. I will give you all the credit in the world because you're trying. But these people that just want praised for like taking the easy way out in every way, shape, and form is just, it's ridiculous.
Are clearly deathly afraid of becoming fat or have.
And they should be. I'm sorry. People should be afraid of getting fat, like obese, because it's dangerous and it's unhealthy and it shortens your life and it increases your risk of so many health problems. Fat is not just an innocuous thing on your body that deforms you anymore. We know that. It's considered an organ by a lot of people. It's very like active hormonally, particularly estrogen, but they're learning all kinds of other things it kicks out. It's very inflammatory. It has a highly inflammatory response on your body. So it's like, yes, people should be afraid of getting fat, like to that level.
Having any feature that fat bodies have, rather than empathizing with fat people.
But why should they empathize? Like, once you get to this person's size, you've done it to yourself and you can change it. Someone like this can still actually eat a lot and lose weight because she eats so much to be this weight and maintain it. Like, you can't fault people for not being attracted to your body when it's like, okay, like, I can't see how pretty you actually are because your face is too chubby. You have big rolls hanging over your gut. You know what I mean? You have a belly apron. You know, it's if you're attracted to that, that's fine. You know, that's up to you, but you can't fault people for being attracted to fit bodies. One, because they have a nice shape, they're very visually appealing, but they also symbolize healthy choices, healthy lifestyle, activity, a longer lifespan, potentially the ability to procreate, you know, in an appropriate manner. They symbolize wanting to go out and do things. Like, you can't go hiking and do certain things with people once they get to a certain size that you could do with somebody who's fit. So it's not just the physical appearance that people are attracted to when they're saying they're not attracted to a fat person versus a thin person. It's the lifestyle choices that are also attractive and the health they're attracted to.
Who naturally have roles without contorting.
No. Nobody naturally has roles. No, like, it is not natural to have enough fat on your body that you actually have a physical roll hanging over. Like, that's not natural. Like I said, if you look at pictures and videos from like 60 or 70 years and all throughout our history before we started pushing the low fat standard American diet bullshit, people didn't have rolls.
Their body in a weird way.
And yeah, like Alex just said, it's not natural.
Thinking about how it might affect their psyche to see someone literally gag on the internet.
That's not nice. But I mean, if you put yourself out there, you run the risk of getting like criticized and stuff. But the fact of the matter is you know what else really affects your health? Being very overweight, being obese, a very poor diet of all the processed foods and stuff is bad for your mental health as well. It is. It's a fact. It's being proven. Like, your weight really correlates hugely with your mental health. And I'm sorry, but people that get to be this woman's size, she's not getting that big and maintaining it on a healthy whole foods diet. She's eating a lot of processed food, packaged food, convenience food, fast food, eating too much in general, snacking too much, probably drinking calories. And if you watch, I learned it from reacting to and doing the calorie counts and the carb counts for the what I eat in a day fat person videos. They are eating junk, and they can change that.
At the thought of resembling them.
Dude, if I had to worry about somebody's psyche every time I spoke, I would never open my mouth ever again.
And you don't need to. Like, I know people get mad. Oh, you could hurt someone's feelings. Okay, so fucking what? I mean, I don't purposely try to hurt people's feelings, but it's like, oh, you could trigger somebody with this or that. Like, you can't say anything nowadays without somebody saying that triggers me. You are responsible for your own triggers. You're responsible for what's going to set you off, and you need to manage them. Like, it's not up to me. Like, if you come to my channel and you know what I talk about and you've heard me talk and you know how I feel, don't come at me with, well, you trigger me. Okay, well then don't watch that particular video or don't listen. Like, it is what it is. I can't, if you worry about what might upset every single person around you forever, nobody would ever talk and say a damn word, because some of these people are so overly sensitive about the littlest, stupidest things that, I'm sorry, you just want to be like, dude, how do you exist? How do you survive in the real world? Like, if they would have lived and grown up in the like 80s and 90s and early 2000s where I came from, these people would absolutely curl up into a ball behind a rock and die of like being triggered. It's like I come from a place of tough love and where like the truth hurts, but it made me a better person. Like, we have all the problems we have now because people are not told no, or this is bad, or you shouldn't do this, or you should change that. It's like the freaking 8th place trophy freaking syndrome.
Gee, she's a psychiatrist now. Give me a break.
Never open my mouth ever again. Why does she have to worry about how you feel about her fitness?
You don't. I'm sorry. Like, now, obviously, if you are friends with somebody and they've experienced SA or something, yeah, you're probably going to be mindful about talking about something like that to somebody you know, or somebody you know who's experienced it, or a violent crime or something. But it's like, dude, when you're saying that people in your office shouldn't be allowed to like talk to their friend in the office about their diet or that they've lost weight because that might trigger you, get over it. Like, just get the hell over it. If it's bugging you that much, it's because you know you have a problem and you should lose weight too, and you're not doing it. Like, there's a difference between serious, true, legitimate trigger things and you not wanting to hear that somebody's doing what you refuse to do.
That's the thing. It's like, yeah, when I was talking, people would say, hey, how are you losing the weight? I would talk about it in my videos. It's like they always think that they know what's best for me. Right. Always. Like, I don't know.
They don't want people, as much as they say we want people to have their own identities and be free to be and say whatever. They don't want you to have your own identity.
No, if you're like normal, okay, I know people don't like that word. Yeah. If you're normal, you're not allowed to have any opinions. You have to have the opinions of the woke eccentrics.
And you know, it's gotten so divisive and ridiculous that during this whole COVID narrative, nobody was able to say that, you know, like, if you're obese, COVID's going to be worse for you. No.
And it absolutely is. That's like a scientific fact. People that were obese and unhealthy suffered from like the cytokine storm and stuff that COVID caused. They were more naturally inflamed, so they ended up having more issues. It's like a real thing. Like I said, compared to some people who had COVID, I was thin when I got COVID. I was only like 50 or 60 pounds overweight, 70 pounds overweight. And guess what? I have long standing symptoms. My throat is like chronically sore and scratchy. I chronically have a little bit of a sore throat. It's never gone away. And I know it's a long lasting symptom of COVID. I have that. And I was, like I said, I mean, I'm throwing up like these like quotation marks here with my fingers. I was like only 50 or 60 pounds overweight. Thank God I was otherwise pretty healthy, like in the sense of like, you know, immunity wise, and I take all my supplements and stuff. I really think my supplements that I take for Lyme disease helped me quite a bit on that. And I hit the chaga tea and stuff like that really hard when I got COVID, but I still have a long lasting symptom. So people who are overweight, they were the ones that passed away more. They were the ones who suffer the real severe long-term long vid symptoms and stuff like that. It was an absolute risk factor, and they should have pushed for people to get healthy and change their diets and lose weight, and they didn't say a thing.
Nobody said that.
I know.
The news didn't say it.
So mad about that.
Yeah, and then it comes out. I forget which country it was. It was like Venezuela or Argentina or something that did this Spanish ad about like, if you want to fight COVID, work out, eat your fruits and vegetables. You know,
so offensive to them. That's offensive to them.
So offensive. Yeah. How dare you? So I used to work at this leftist organization, and on the walls on there in the different meeting rooms or whatever was like, never give workout advice, never give food advice to anybody in these walls. It's inherently fat phobic.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
I would quit. I couldn't work somewhere like that. It's like, it's a joke.
Oh my gosh, how did you? I don't even know how you turned around.
I was so delusional that I don't know how I survived either. But
I don't know how you did either. And like, I'm going to end it here. I know a lot of people like my really long, like forum content with the fat acceptance and the girls and stuff. I don't know how long this one is, but I want to get a couple more things made today. And then I got to go get my kiddo from school soon. So I just wanted to do this because I think Alex is fun. This was a good little clip. I don't know who this other girl is, but like I said, I will link her video below. Go check her out. And yeah, it's just crazy. But, you know, leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want more fat acceptance, diet, nutrition, health, weight loss content. And, you know, it is what it is. And if you don't have a comment per se and you want to help the algorithm, leave like an airplane emoji in the comments or something. It'll help, and I appreciate it. And I will see you guys in the next video.